Okay, I need a motion to come back into open session. Anybody? All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Bob?
I'm here.
I know you are. Bob?
He might be out getting food. He's on mute.
I keep thinking if I say it loud enough, he'll hear me in his house. Bob? Joe, is that annoying?
We should have all these going this way. Fortunately.
Are you calling me annoying?
No.
No. Yeah. No. No. Bob?
I'm focused here. This is really difficult for me. Come on now.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to find a annexation letter I wrote years ago
Oh.
on my Word. But that's okay. I'll find it.
Okay.
Well, I know John Barisic was very involved in the original, in getting this whole string together, and he probably has some information that might be helpful in this whole thing.
Right, that's on our.
We've asked several times, and he's
We've
been
sent
looking.
emails.
Okay.
Bob? I feel like if I just keep saying his name.
Can we see the video of him or no?
He turned it off.
Maybe. Let's see.
Someone call him on his phone.
Maybe he fell asleep.
Aw. Okay. Yeah, he turned his video off.
Is his video back on?
I sent him a text to see if he was ready.
Understood that it was a 5-minute recess, and I thought it was a lunch break.
So is this where we nominate him to mow everybody's grass?
Yeah. he keeps going away, so.
I got some pressure washing down here, so I'll take a break.
There he is.
Bob? Bob, are you ready?
Oh, there he is. He's coming.
I'm back.
All right.
There you go.
Okay, so Jamie made a motion to come back into open session. All's in favor?
Aye.
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 Bob, waiting for you. You're on mute.
No, he's not. Bob, you want to come back into open session? What is
Hey,
happening?
Claudia, go upstairs to the car track.
Bob? Bob?
There's a...
You might have muted us.
I don't blame him.
Bob?
I'd mute us too.
Yeah, you'll see it right where the controllers are.
Bob? Bob? Bob?
I'm here.
Okay,
I'm here.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
My mouse actually went out.
Okay.
And so I was clicking away. So.
All right, so Jamie made a motion to come into open session. You good? Aye?
Aye.
Aye, all right. Motion passed and we're back in open session. All right. Next up, consider appointment of application to the website committee appointment. Barbie.
His application is in the packet. You've interviewed him when he did his application for the vacant council member, and so he decided he would like to serve on the website committee.
Okay. How many people are on there now?
He would make number 6.
Okay.
And they're trying to
He would
keep that
make what?
committee
I didn't
small,
hear
so
that.
he would be the last one we would appoint there.
Number 6, and Barbie said that'd be the last person we would appoint. Okay,
So they're just in charge of content, is that correct?
No, they
No.
are gonna be in charge of the entire website of, functionality, design. They're all gonna have input in it.
Yeah, but just to clarify, it's just input. They're not designing. They're not doing they're not making the website.
Right. But what about, as far as actually pushing it out to the...
No.
No, this
No.
is just a committee they wanted, public engagement on how functional it is and, to clarify, they do have some input in the design in it. Of course, they're not gonna design it, we have a designer that's gonna do that, but they do have input in what the layout of the website's gonna be. And how user-friendly it's gonna be.
okay. Alright,
So it's a creative committee, basically. as
Exactly,
well. Just
exactly,
creative
they're-
ideas.
Yep,
they have zero access to the inside of the website.
exactly. They won't have any access to it at all. It's just strictly input.
Okay, alright. So I need a motion to appoint James Heary to the website committee.
So move.
All's in favor?
Aye.
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 Alright, motion passes. Thank you, James, for your,
Absolutely.
for volunteering. We appreciate that. Okay, next up, discussion of the land use plan. Woo woo. Who did their homework?
I did my homework.
Joe, did you do your homework?
I can't, I want to thank them for doing it because that was, I can't imagine what it took to get through that, even though they did have a springboard to go off of from 2004, but that was a lot of work. It was
Good for
very
them. No, they did great. Okay, so what are we gonna do? Just go page by page?
Yeah, let me get my copy.
This is
One
gonna be
second.
fun. Made a lot of notes.
We have 5 minutes allotted for this, right?
Yeah.
I'm still sprinting, trying to catch up with all of
That's right.
it amidst my other obligations.
Okay, are you making the changes?
Yes.
Okay. Acknowledgements. If we could spell my last name right, that'd be super.
Oh.
Minor details.
We need to add Andy to that,
Mhm.
and then we need to add Melinda to the planning board.
Mhm.
We need to take Andy off, Park Trek and Greenway, and Mary off.
Right.
Okay.
Mine already had that, so I must.
Yeah, I gave Joe a slightly updated version that already has that.
Oh, well, aren't you
But-
fancy, Mr.
yeah.
Mayor?
Mine's all the- But yes, I've since made those changes, but your last name I still have.
Okay. Okay, I mean, do we really wanna sit here and go, I mean, mine are like grammatical, like,
Maybe if you wanna just email me your grammatical,
it's,
We have
I am not taking,
recommendations?
no, I'm not gonna take the time to do that.
Okay,
I
you
will
can
come
just
in,
give me your
I will-
version then
there
if
you
you
go, I'll
marked
do
it up,
that.
that's fine too.
Cause I've marked it up.
I guess, yeah, because we'd be here forever if
Yeah.
everyone went through all their, even in the planning board at the very end, they just said, like, email me individually, here are all the grammatical things that need to be
Yeah,
fixed.
I'll give you my
So-
copy, cause there's a bunch of,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, that's fine, and I can even photocopy it.
okay.
But I think in the interest of time, the things that you should talk about are the conceptual
Yeah.
changes.
Okay, well, I had some questions about some stuff, so let's go to page number 5, executive summary, reasons to plan, second bullet down. It says, a good plan ensures a municipality can provide services like zoning, environmental protection, public amenities, base maintenance, and access to county. What is base maintenance?
Where are you at? Kim?
Page number 5, the executive summary, reasons to plan, second bullet,
Okay.
second sentence. I just don't know what base maintenance means there.
I see that could be changed to basic maintenance to
Okay.
be much more clear, but basic maintenance is you know, like roadway improvements, crosswalk improvements.
Okay, so
Um,
maybe just a
lawn
little
mowing.
more specific
Yeah.
here. I just did not know what that meant. Okay.
Probably a spelling error.
Yeah, it probably should just say basic maintenance, and then that would just be self-explanatory.
Okay.
Within the highlighted green area, the NCGS 160A, down on number 3, the third bullet point, a view to conserving the value of buildings. What do they mean by that? What buildings?
The old ones?
So do we want to clarify that? Historic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Add
Is that-
historic there, okay.
Yeah, is that what they intended?
I'm not sure. This was, most of this chapter was already written by the time I got
Okay.
into it, so I'm not sure.
And then I had a question about the sentence, actually right above that. The district's peculiar suitability for certain land uses? I don't even know what that sentence means.
What is that?
The district's peculiar suitability for certain land uses?
Where are you at?
The sentence right above the sentence you just read.
Oh, okay. The sentence.
Probably means particular.
Maybe particular instead of
Yeah.
peculiar?
Probably particular is what
Okay.
I meant.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'll add an apostrophe on districts as well.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm.
Could I ask a question? Rohit, on page 7, because I remember being in the planning board meetings as they went through this, so I see the highlight, the VCD, the Village Center District, and it's highlighted yellow.
I meant to unhighlight that, sorry.
I didn't know. I thought maybe you were inserting something in there or something. Okay.
No, sorry. I meant to unhighlight that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm to number 6, page 16.
Oh, wait. You're going to 16 now?
Uh-huh. The rest of mine are grammatical changes.
Okay, well,
You got something before that?
yeah, page 6.
Oh my god. All right, page 6.
B, promote Marvin's historical identity and cultivate a sense of place of community. Do we want to, I don't know, I was just like, okay, so how, I mean, I wrote next to it, how, but, I mean, should that be a little more specific, or?
Those are the chapter or subsection titles in chapter 5. So if you want to ask how, you can go over to page 28, and there are about a dozen bullets explaining how.
Okay.
So that's an overview page.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, that makes sense.
What's the executive summary?
But if that wasn't clear to you, and it might not be clear to someone reading, I could add something in the little beginning text that says, land use plan is centered upon 9 core policies that will be elaborated in chapter 5 or something.
Perfect.
Like that.
I think that's
Okay.
great. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
And to that point, then, the following page, 7, on number 1, on supplemental recommendations, facilitate the creation of a mixed-use village center. I don't know if a lot of people know what mixed-use village center really means, and there's maybe a way we could highlight that in the back of examples, maybe, of what a mixed use. Does that make sense?
It does. Examples, though. In the executive summary, maybe it's not the place for examples, But to what extent do you want to show examples? Like, do you want to show pictures, or do you want to just like a sentence or two of what mixed use means? What are you thinking?
Maybe is up for discussion, maybe even like a location like, Matthews or, you know, or some, I don't know, in the back of the.
Do we talk about this later on? I'm sure we do,
little.
right?
It's in chapter 5 also.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see, page 30.
I would say then, where does it say in page 30?
Well, page 30 is all about the village center. I guess that's this page 30 and 31 is the only place that's elaborated. But if it's maybe here that you want to go into a little bit of an explanation of what mixed use is.
I would, but then back over here, I would say see section or chapter 5. So on page 7, see chapter 5. I don't know if that would be helpful, like going through this, like it's like created a village-wide traffic calming thing. So wherever the traffic calming stuff is, see chapter 5. I don't know if is that a pain in the butt to go back and add all that?
I mean, not really. You can say see chapter 5 and then maybe say 5 dot D.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
5.
I think that would be helpful.
Now, Rohit, just as a point of reference, but I'll let you're writing your notes right now, but I
No, go ahead.
was looking at page 31, which I alluded to before when we were looking at kind of those graphics, that top of page 31, permit residential uses in the district as well as second floor residential uses over the first floor businesses. I know that I spoke to John Jones, because sitting in the planning board, which has been a grand help understanding this, watching it happen, that's the next stage. Like he was telling me that they're gonna take these 2 pages and then now start dissecting the village center to explain all this, right?
Yes.
In other words, come up with a land use plan for these 2, right?
Right, yeah, so to go into detail for you guys, the land use plan is the preliminary document of what the vision should be, and the next step for creating the village center is to create a design document which will be guided by pages 30 and 31 in the land use plan. Will be a standalone document.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Well, before we get there, I still have more stuff between here and there. Because I do want to go back and I do want to talk about that. But anybody got anything before page 16?
Hold on, I'm looking.
Oh my God.
I have notes on everything.
Maybe
The
you
other thing
should.
I made a comment on 10, the very first paragraph, last sentence. What do you want to let people know right away? This builds on the existing inaugural plan, but aims to provide more specific goal policies. So I just think that, people should know that, we're enhancing what's already there and getting a little bit more specific. It's just you get 10 pages in before you know that.
So you want that in the introduction?
Possibly, but, I'm okay with it there. It's just you get 10 pages in before you realize they're really working off of the existing 2004, let's call it the people that were maybe, the inception of Marvin was what, 94, and then 10 years later it finally gets a land use plan, so, but, I don't know, some thought.
Okay. I'd run that by the planning board, see what their thoughts are. But I feel you there.
And while we're there, on page 11, where we're looking at the community profile,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's just my copy of what I'm looking at. I'm looking at that lower right-hand map.
Yeah, that's a work in progress, and I've highlighted that there for you guys to know. This this round of revisions is just meant to be for the text, and updating all of the maps in this section is going to be a little bit of a chore. So and the planning board agreed that they would just send you the text.
Okay.
Moving on to page 13, first geographical profile, right in the middle of that paragraph, the Village of Marvin is an incorporated municipality providing primary municipal functions including planning and zoning, park maintenance, infrastructure, and contracting the Sheriff's Department, Union County. So again, it goes back to services we provide. Do you think we should mention something about road maintenance?
Yes. Is that infrastructure? That'd be infrastructure.
That is some infrastructure.
Do you want to specifically say road maintenance?
What other kind of infrastructure?
What are
Stormwater?
we giving them for their money? Their 5 cents.
6 cent.
So we're not doing stormwater? I thought
No,
that was
we
in
are.
conjunction with the roads.
We are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. We're doing curbs too. Sorry.
Curb and
So
gutter. So that's,
infrastructure.
infrastructure is.
That covers roads, curb, gutters, stormwater.
It covers everything pretty much, but we're doing,
Joe, roads are covered with infrastructure.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure that people understand that. That's something new that we've added, so.
Okay. Page 16?
I am on 16 right now.
Okay, good. Okay, the solid waste facilities. Why do we have to have that in there? Like, we don't provide it,
we don't have anything to do with solid waste.
so why do we need that in there? I mean, I think once we add it, or if we add it, then we can do it, but otherwise it's private, I don't know why we need it in there.
More provided by Union
Solid
County,
waste
you're right.
facilities don't even include pickup either. We don't have any facilities that are in Marvin that have anything to do with that.
It's all private, it's not even Union County.
Yeah, that's actually the solid waste facilities. The first sentence could.
That's Union County anyway. They're solid waste facilities,
Right.
recycling stations and
Right.
such. That's Union County. That's got nothing to do with us.
I
Or private.
think that whole section just needs to,
Delete this page.
not the whole page, public water and sewer, you can tell like where we get our water and sewer service, but solid waste, I don't know.
I don't know. If you're putting that in there, you just defer it to Union County because all of those services are provided by Union County as a whole.
Except the collection of it, because then we gotta go out and, I don't know, I just don't think we need the solid waste facilities portion of it. I would just take it out, I think it's a nothing. That's just me. Everybody else really want it? No, alright, check it. Okay, I'm at page 25 now. Okay, so,
Oh, that's okay. No, we're good.
okay, so this vision statement that is in here, is this planning board's vision statement? Is this, because I know this isn't the village's vision statement. What is this?
Actually don't know. This is also something that was here before I started
We
here.
can replace
I can-
the one that
I
we
think
just.
it's
Well,
the
when I
village's
saw
mission
this,
statement that really needs to be
Oh,
a
is
new
it the
one.
previous village? The
previous
vision
one,
statement?
yes.
Okay.
We need
So
to
the new
update
one
it.
needs to be in
We
there.
need the vision statement and the mission statement as revised.
Got it.
That's on 20, this is 25, right?
Yes,
right.
Yeah, I had the same note, because didn't we just have it?
Yes.
By the group?
yes.
Well, I just want to make sure that there wasn't a confusion between mission statement and vision statement.
Well-
Like we have a mission,
We have both, but they've both been revised and they're both like one sentence. So that
Yeah.
whole thing needs to be redone anyway, and I think it should have vision and mission.
okay. Right.
Sure.
Okay, I'm to page 29 now.
Hold on.
Anybody?
I'm here.
Okay. So under C3, design and development standards, require developers of residential neighborhoods to provide streetscapes. Or is that sidewalks?
That includes sidewalks, yeah.
Does a streetscape include a sidewalk?
It includes sidewalks, street lights, anything that
Okay.
is along a road corridor.
Okay, all right.
Street
Just
scape.
wanted to make sure because I was
Where was
confused
that
about
at,
that. C3, the first sentence, to provide streetscapes. I just wanted to make sure that included sidewalks.
And what I wrote down right next to that is a new ordinance needed there?
We do currently require developers to build streets according to our engineering manual, which includes sidewalks currently. And in our ordinance, we also say that the developer will be responsible for trails. So I don't know if we need a new ordinance to enforce that. I think we have it already.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, but I wanted to go back to page just 26, just a real small comment on page 26. E, consider limited attractive. We say, I guess
So
we
part
could
of it should
say
be
that.
ugly?
What?
So-
No,
No, that's what it reads. That's how it reads. Limited attractive, so part of it should be ugly then.
Well, that's a great point, Kim. I was just looking at it. It's like, I didn't like how that was written. Let's only have some of it attractive, yeah.
Yeah, the rest of it should be ugly. Consider, yeah, I know what they're trying to, I know what they're trying to say there, but they need to clean that up a
How
little
about
bit.
just remove limited and put consider attractive pedestrian-oriented
Neighborhood scale commercial development, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we don't want part of it to be ugly and part of it to be attractive.
Yeah, so limited was meant to be limited commercial.
Commercial, yeah.
Right. Well, then to clarify it, to put limited commercial and then
Yeah.
build attractive.
So either reword it or just take limited out.
Rewording is probably a little bit more concise.
Yeah.
And moving to 27, if you guys are okay.
Yep.
On goals and objectives, update the land use plan approximately, number 3, 5 years to reflect available information and changing conditions. How involved would it be? As involved as what we just went through?
Not nearly, because the thing is, when the first land use plan was adopted, it was a 3-page, little tiny thing that, you know, it was a good start, but it doesn't really have too much info in it. When we have this, and we update this every 5 years, all it takes is for us to go through and kind of comb through what changed since
Yeah.
the last time.
Instead of literally rewriting it after the 180 some
Right.
pages was done. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. So keeping it updated is actually a lot less work to do every 5 years than rewriting it every
Yeah,
time.
I just
Yeah.
don't want to have to go with what we just went through and stuff.
No,
Yeah. Okay.
The other thing right below that, development standards accurately reflect community's vision for Marvin. Who actually does that? Who's gonna be doing that? And then
That's-
underneath that, when you talk about the surveys, initiated amendments based on statistical significant resident surveys. I think Jamie and I had the comment that, you know, we're taking the lead on 300 people who responded, 300 homes out of what was 1,700, and we're holding that as weight. So I think we might want to add a little more than just resident surveys.
Well, it does say statistically significant resident surveys, which this one is. Basically, I mean, I've explained this a couple of times, but when you have that many people responding to a survey, you can assume the population is pretty close to the what the results were in the survey. So is that what you're? I mean, is that what you're referring to?
I just was, when I saw significant resident surveys, I'm just like, okay, we got 300 and we're putting a lot of weight on, which I still believe that they're accurate too, but, you know, we also public input meetings, maybe other things that you know?
Oh, so you want to add more things than surveys? Okay, such as public
I think
input
that's where I'm
meetings.
going with
Okay,
that.
okay,
I don't know how I write it.
got it.
That's what he said.
The amendments, land use codes, is basically public input meetings, maybe public feedback, public comments. And some other way of saying, and other means of,
Yeah, maybe
Feedback.
just a little wordsmithing there
Sure.
to include the other things that we are considering. And you guys are okay with great development standards that accurately reflect community's vision for Marvin? I'm like, okay, great development standards, is that through planning board, I assume, and all that?
yeah, that's a all hands on deck,
Okay.
a line item, you know, Parks and Greenways Board figures out how, their standards
Yeah.
for trail buildings, and the planning board, does land use, council will address ordinances, both zoning and not, and staff will also, so everyone plays a hand in that.
Okay,
I'm to 31.
I'm on page 30, hold on.
I should have told him not to.
I made a note here, and I know this gets into a whole different thing, but, on goals and objectives, D2, establish standards for distinct architecture that exhibits Marvin's rural characters. We talked about this a while, but this puts us into a whole different thing, so I don't even know if we want to go there, but like we talk about like a historic district along the proposed, and the only reason I brought that up in the village center is because of all the things that are there right now that were something 100 years ago. Do we want to, I don't know what the word would be, but you know, and I don't know if that gets into the ambiance, the look of what we're trying to do, but I know if you go down the historic route, that's a whole different ballgame to get everyone to go down the historic thing, but it's just that, I don't know, I'm making notes as I'm reading, and I just kind of jumped out at me as far as establishing standards for architecture. Is that done just through an architecture committee that's, okay, here's what we want these buildings to look like?
I think that's what we make the decision of.
Yeah, so that's part of the village center concept, is that the buildings would be regulated to look like existing buildings. And I don't know if maybe in the future we'll have an architecture committee. Maybe there's just going to be a board that looks at architecture and everything else. But the design is going to be decided now, before the district is established. And that is possible through zoning, and that's probably just going to be through planning board.
Yeah. I know in that last meeting we had with those volunteers that we had the meeting with, they really liked that the certain homes that were existing and were re-establishing them, like the Crane House that was a general store. But you can't control that. If they want to level that, I guess they can't, you know.
Unless you establish a historical society that
Right.
regulates it, then yeah, you're right. But if you do that, and guidelines are set like they have in Charlotte, then they can't do that.
So we don't have anything in place, or do we? I know when we did the roundabouts, we were held up on the one roundabout because some historic dirt.
That might be the State Department of Historic Preservation.
Yeah, that was
We don't
on
have
the state
anything.
level or county level. That wasn't here.
When we become, as this gets going, the way the process is that the Main Street organization for North Carolina, part of the setup will be that we will have 4 committees, one of which will be the architectural committee. All of this, of course, is under the umbrella of the National Trust for Historic Preservation. So what happens is the Architectural Committee will be, this is just guidelines, but what happens is then you start getting when you start talking about the Crane store, for example, if that's going to be a viable use, there will be, the Architectural Committee will be involved, the National Trust for Historic Preservation will be involved to give guidelines, just guidelines. But that'll be part of the Main Street process as this goes along.
Mm-hmm. So does that mean that, so with those guidelines, does that kind of give us a nudge that we should develop a historical society if that's in our vision for the village to have historical preservation here to help?
It can. I mean, it can. It's right now that's when this thing gets going. We don't reinvent the wheel. The National Trust actually tells you should come up with a historical society, and then that becomes a part of the Architectural Committee, which is of the Main Street development. There'll also be a promotional committee that'll be involved with promotions and civic type, affairs that we're going to do when we get the venues available. So actually, all of this is in place. We'll get there eventually.
Okay.
We'll guide it along.
Okay.
For what it's worth, we don't have to reinvent anything.
Okay.
Just below that, I need just some explanation, and apologize for my understanding this, but in redevelopment and infill development, support adaptive number 2, support adaptive reuse of single-family units architecturally consistent with old and new development in the area. Can you explain that a little more?
Sure, yeah. Adaptive reuse is a term in planning for basically renovating an existing building and using it for maybe the same thing it was used for when it was in use, or maybe something different. And that's a really popular way, and it's also cheaper than building a new building, of course. But it's a really popular way to preserve the character while rehabilitating the area. So the single-family units that are architecturally consistent, I mean, in this case, all the buildings are consistent because they're the ones that are here. So say William Owens' house there, built in 1902, that would be old development, but infill development that should match existing development would be what this section is referring to.
Okay.
$31. Feeler. 31.
I just 31. I saw D7 when you said you want.
Yeah. So D7. So yeah. So I said no in big bold letters to the residential uses over first floor businesses. If we leave it in there, do we have to allow it?
No.
Okay. And then I said no in big bold letters to the bed and breakfast. So if we leave it in there, we don't have to allow it.
That's correct. The land use plan is a plan and a guide.
Okay.
Whenever you make decisions, if you recall, you have a consistency statement that says this is consistent with the land use plan or this is inconsistent with the land use plan, and you can always approve something while saying it is inconsistent if you make a good reason.
Okay. All right. I'm fine with leaving it in there as long as we don't have to do it.
So you're,
Yeah, I had a
it's
question
only
mark
just
on here
business-
too, Kim.
the center district.
Yeah,
here,
yeah, just here.
Not fringe areas like on Province Road or something.
Right. This is just here. Okay. All right. I'm to page 34 now.
I have something at 33.
Okay.
Planning and implementation, F11, identify and encourage the reservation of strategically located undeveloped land for public usable green space and parks. We don't say anything in here about working with other neighboring towns on this. Do you think that's a good place to put in, mention that, you know, we want to work with other towns that neighbor ours that maybe, or a shared opportunity, especially since we have limited land available. When I see all these recreation and stuff like that, we may want to, you know, partner up with a neighboring town to have a multi-use field and stuff that we could send our kids to, rather than what we have now is a floodplain.
Okay.
If we can't find the land to build recreation, because that was a big thing for a lot of people. And recreation, when I think of it for Marvin, unfortunately, because the land has been gobbled up, we're really looking at bike paths and trailways, you know.
Okay.
Okay, I can add that as a number 7. Consider partnering with neighboring towns to develop a shared park space.
Yeah. And then down below on F4, services and needs, love the fact that 6 says consider and providing safe and secure parking areas that serve greenway trails and parks. We just got rid of one.
What do we do? Oh.
Yeah, and there's some other ideas that we'll discuss later about that.
Am I right on that? Did we just get rid of one?
Where are you looking?
It's F4, number 6. On page 33.
We did just get rid of one, Joe, you're right. One.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, you're talking about Tullamore.
Yeah.
Yep. But that's
Yeah,
in
but
our land use plan.
But I'm not
Obviously.
sure that would be considered safe and secure. Because it was not really being used for parking, it was being used for donuts
Well,
and,
then you can say that about
Riffraff.
everyone that we provide, wherever you're gonna have it, it's gonna be a venue for kids to pull over and do whatever they're
so
gonna
maybe
do.
we don't need to have any. Maybe we should take that out.
But that's why I have a note there.
Kids don't do bad stuff.
You could say the same thing about the school parking lot too.
True, but it's not my,
But you can't say that, you gotta have facilities though, it's just a matter of being in places that are more visible for law enforcement to be able to control the situation, and I think that was one of the key aspects of that parking lot being a little less secure,
yeah.
it's a little more obscured.
All right, well, can't do anything about it now, so what do you want to do?
Well, I'm just wondering, should we remove it?
Well, I mean,
Or
I think there may
is
be
the
a-
goal really to have these greenways accessible from each individual neighborhood? So hopefully, the idea is you can go from your neighborhood and not have to drive to this place, but go from your neighborhood and walk right into a greenway trail system.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know about removing it, because there may be opportunities down the road for parking, depending on how it's developed. I wouldn't want to
But
eliminate
that was
it.
on the plan the whole time when they bought all of them people, and I'm not against Palomar removing that, but that was clearly on the plan when everyone bought over there, and then they bought, and then they said, okay, we don't want them.
All right. Not on the agenda.
I know, but I'm just making a point of what happened, and I've identified, highlighted that, do we really want to get into the secure parking, safe and secure? So define that, and I mean, it's just, I don't know if that needs to be on there, but,
All right, circle it, take it back to planning board, see what they think, and then bring it back to us.
Just FYI, the PRG board took care of this section of the land.
Oh,
use
well,
plan,
then go back
so
to PRG.
I'll take it back to the PRG board.
All right, I'm to page 34.
okay,
Are you to 34?
yes?
Okay. F7, number 2, provide linear parks connecting uses and recreation areas within the village center area. What's a linear park?
Yeah, well, it's a greenway, but it's also like when you have a section of a narrow like corridor type park. Let's say like the Marvin Loop Trail, like kind of near Marvin Creek. That could be considered a linear park. It's just long, it's lush, but it's like
People
a
are
trail.
using it like a park.
Well, there is some open space there. And that's not really a good example, but
you could
it's
play
like
frisbee along in that
that, like,
yard there
yeah.
or whatever. I mean, it could be used.
Okay. All right.
And it's wide. It's not
Okay.
just a trail. It's
Okay.
it's a,
All right.
mhm.
Just checking.
So-
Yeah, I just want to try to give you a
Open
definition
area.
of the linear park.
That's-
It's like long and
Usable.
narrow, like bug
So
space.
given that this was maybe in place for a while, I don't know if this was part of the old or not, but just so you know, how does Eford Park fit into that? It
It's
doesn't.
not a linear
There's
park.
no
Not a linear
access.
part, but
It's a park.
I know, but
How
there's
does-
no access. It doesn't even fit. I mean, I get it. We've done well with it, but it may go to the point of some of the recommendations that we may hear from the group that we talked to earlier, so.
And it also depends on annexation too, to be quite honest, because that fits in our targeted annexation zone.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
however things develop out, it may become more usable and more attractive, but you're right, it is kind of remote at the moment.
Well, our Parks and Greenway master plan shows an eventual trail or sidewalk connection along Newtown Road to the park. Eventually, like 20 plus years down the line, it will be pedestrian accessible. And as you say, in our annexation area.
And, you know, with some of these other communities, they're kind of going that direction, so it's feasible that it could get brought into the village. I mean, you know, it's possible.
Just by the way, just a comment, as I sit on the planning board, that the conversation of which Joe is bringing up was presented to the planning board, and it brought up for spirited conversation, just so you know.
Yeah, it was pretty split.
We'll talk about that when we get there. That is not land use plan.
Yeah.
All right, I'm on page 36. Okay.
I'm on page 37,
Alright.
finally ahead of you.
Okay, all right, H1, number 1, just at the very end, as the physical conditions of local roads, can we just say municipal owned roads?
Sure.
Because we're only going to improve the roads we own. The number 4, prioritize needed repairs as part of the village's annual capital improvement plan with assistance from engineers, because I don't want people thinking that we are making those decisions of the prioritization.
Worded just like that, with assistance.
With assistance from
With
engineers.
directions.
And it should have been ESP, but I could not think of our engineering firm. Like, I mean, AMT. I could not think of it to save my life. I was like, what? I just searched for engineers.
And that's
And
fine.
you can
because-
say engineers because it may
yeah,
change.
Yeah, exactly. I
So,
was about to say the same thing.
yeah. Okay, 37, H8. That whole section was just mislabeled. It was like 1, no number, then 2, then 3.
Oh, sorry.
Rohit,
Mm-hmm.
quick question.
Thank you.
I want to seem to remember, was the LARTP renamed?
No, the LARTP is still the local area transportation plan. There is a new transportation plan coming up. CRTPO's CTP, which is the Comprehensive Transportation Plan. That's coming up, and that's about to be. I mean, it is already being presented as the main next plan. So it might coincide with this, and I might be able to replace all of the LARTPs with the CTPs.
Well, and then
Okay.
and then what's the TCC?
That's a technical coordination committee.
Yeah, let's put that in there
okay,
somewhere
sure.
because I could not find it anywhere else
Sure,
in
sorry.
here. So I was just like, I don't even know what that is. Oh, and then okay, and then my last. Are we doing pictures?
No.
Oh no, this is number 6. Never mind. It's 6, chapter 6.
Yeah, chapter 6
Okay.
is not. We're gonna talk about this
Okay.
still at the planning board meeting. They're
Okay.
kind of refining the boundaries of the proposed uses, and they finished that conversation as of the last planning board meeting, and they'll present it, again with the discussions of your revisions in a future council meeting,
Okay.
maybe in a couple months.
All right, I'm done. Joe?
Yeah, I have page 39.
No, I'm still done.
No, that's
past our chapter.
That's past. That's
We're
past the
just
scope
we're just
of this
chapter
revision.
1 through 5.
Mm-hmm.
All right, can I at least make a note of something to look at?
No.
Sure. I mean, this is gonna be revised eventually, so.
Second paragraph, read that, the very end of the second to last.
Joe, I had lots of questions on that whole page. It was like, it needs to be reread.
Yeah, it even said update once completed.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it was a whole bunch of wonky sentences. That
We didn't
make sense.
even look at this in the planning board yet.
Okay,
so
because it is
it's
like
not yet. It's not ready yet.
It is bad.
It's more homework than I needed.
You're supposed to have the whole thing done.
No.
The
Yes, we
overachiever.
were. Okay. All right. Anything else? Discussion land use plan? Nope. Moving right along. Discussion of Board of Adjustment update. Barbie.
I have reached out to every member on that board. One member is no longer living in Marvin. There are 3 members that would like to continue on the board, and I have 2 members that never responded back.
Okay. So who's on there? Who responded? Who didn't respond? And who moved?
So I guess we gotta advertise for that now.
I think it's on our email board list. It's PRNG only. So
We
need
do,
to
because-
add. We need to add that.
There is.
Okay, so Terry Patton
Yeah.
has moved out of Marvin,
Okay.
and Mike Farley agreed to stay on. David Humphreys agreed to stay on. Tom Mayer, I hope that's how I pronounce his name, agreed to stay on. I have not heard from Brian Beatty or Mike Gilboy, and I'm not certain if Mike Gilboy is able to serve on a board with his job situation. I think that's something that he wasn't able to do at one point in time. I don't know if that's still the case, but I never heard back from him.
Okay. So we've got 2 openings and 2 alternates.
Yes, there's actually 2 alternate positions available for that board and 2 openings on the regular board.
Okay. So let's just throw that in, advertise that in there with the Park Truck and Greenway. Put that out there, that we need members for that. And then do we need another one for the,
The ETJ.
yeah,
Board of Adjustments member and alternate. Yeah. The county's seeing our application on July 13th, and so by the next meeting, I'll let you know if
we,
we need to start
Okay.
seeking that and the planning
All right.
board members as well.
so let's just do 2 and 2, meaning two regular, 2 alternate,
Yeah.
And
for
that's
now.
just for the Board of Adjustment.
just for the Board of Adjustments. And then we've got 2 for Park Truck and Greenway that are available, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you very much. So I would just advertise for it. That's direction. Okay, next up, coffee with council. Jamie, you've got a calendar right there. I saw you in your hot little hand. Next one is July,
Right, July 2nd.
which is
Yeah,
supposed to be me and you.
Correct.
Andy, do you want to do that?
Yeah, I do actually. I just,
Okay. Can you do that day?
I just don't know that. I have to get back with you on that.
Okay.
one. But I do want to, absolutely want to do it.
Okay.
It's just a matter of
I'm not going to
scheduling.
be here, so I need to find somebody to take that spot for me.
How did I
Which
know
one
that was
did-
coming?
The July 2nd one?
July 2nd.
Yeah, I'm not going to be here.
When's July 2nd?
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday. Oh.
From 10 to 11 is an
10 to
hour.
11, it's just an hour.
You get coffee and treats.
Where is this?
Coffee with council, Joe. Coffee with
I
council.
know, next Thursday,
Yeah. Can you do it with Jamie? Are you back in town?
you know what, we only drew a crowd of 1, I'm not sure they want.
No, we're going. No. We are doing this.
Stop.
Do it until they quit
July
coming off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you back in town?
I will be in town, I can do it.
Okay.
Okay.
What time?
10 to 11.
10.
For me, it's 9 to 11.
All right,
Let's
perfect.
do it. Yeah, I'll try to do the next one. Next week's gonna be a little
That's
hectic.
fine. What's the one
One
at
after
the end
that
of the
is
month?
July 22nd,
Who's that?
Bob and Joe. So
Why don't you take Joe's spot on that one?
Yeah, that's fine.
And that's an evening one, so that's 6. Wait, it can't be July 22nd. Is it?
Yep, that's what I got on here.
Okay, oh yeah, because planning board's the 21st. So can you do that night?
Yeah.
6 to 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do that.
All right.
So I'm no longer on that one?
Nope, you're out.
July 22nd.
Yep. From 6 to 7 here. Okay, what's August look like?
August is, Bob and I have August the 6th.
And I have the 25th with whom?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Joe.
And that's the 25th?
Yeah,
25th.
of August.
I showed that with you, Kim. You're not gonna accept that?
No, I did. I accepted it.
Okay.
And then that's it. We haven't done
And that's
September. Okay, so we've got Andy on there. That's good. All right, thank you guys for helping me out with that scheduling conflict. Wasn't really an option, but there you go. All right. Anybody else for the schedule? Nope. Okay, moving right along. We're to E. After 60 minutes of D. Reports and updates. Administrator's report.
Sorry, I'm trying to do a bunch of stuff over here while I'm waiting on you guys.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. You're waiting on us.
Hey, at least Kim's running and not Joe. You might be.
So I had
True
passed
story.
out some information prior to the meeting in reference to a bill we received from DOT for $118,000. Did I pass it out?
No.
No.
Oh.
Wait, if you did, I didn't get it.
I don't think.
Well, maybe I Rohit, can you make a copy
But
of
I
this?
want to see it.
Yeah, you said you were going to discuss it with us, so I didn't see the whole thing.
Sorry, I didn't make a copy of this. Can you just make a copy of this page right here?
Just the top page?
And that one.
Okay.
Thanks. So basically, long story short, the 2 roundabouts that were constructed 2 years ago, we signed a contract with them that said that we would pay for any overages for the cost of construction. That contract was signed in 2015, it looks like. And there is a section in there that basically says that. And so when we got this bill in the mail, I was kind of shocked as to why we were receiving it 2 years later. And, asked them if this was typical, if, this was the exact amount. And so when you get the copies that Rohit's printing, you'll see the breakdown as to why we're liable and what for what portions. But I did receive a call back from the gentleman, and he basically said that they had an issue with some drainage. First of all, they had issues with getting the utilities to submit their bills. Secondly, if you recall, there was some work that was just recently done where there's kind of a little dip.
So we had to pay for that
Yes.
screw up in their design?
Yes.
Nice.
So they were waiting to get information back from that. Well, they did find funding to cover that cost of what just happened, if not all of it. I know most of it.
Okay.
But that was the final closeout, as they were looking for more money to pay for that. So
So they just found us and said, well, let's charge Marvin for it.
this is where we're at.
Somebody signed a contract back then, so.
This was kind of in between.
I don't think we had an option. It was either
Yeah.
sign the contract or we ain't doing it.
So
Not
we'll
that I
have
was
to
here
we'll
then,
have to
but
pull this
still.
money from what's already been budgeted, and we can use PAL bill funds for it. And we did appropriate in this fiscal year that we're in today. We did appropriate $141,000 in street resurfacing. We did not use all that, obviously, because we didn't have any street resurfacing. So I'm going to have to pull the money from that line item to pay for this construction.
So that can't be pushed forward to other street resurfacing.
That money that I would
projects.
use for this can't. Yes, correct.
So if it took them 2 years to get us this bill, we'll pay this bill in 2 years.
If we don't
Right.
pay it in 60 days, they start charging interest.
Of course they do, because they're the state and they make all the rules.
I mean, they're not even sending it to the right person. That's what this crap
Christine,
is.
what did you say? You moved your head. If we don't pay it in 2 years, what do they do?
They charge interest to 60 days, not 2 years.
Sorry, I meant 60 days. Okay, 60 days. Okay. And
All right, pay it in 60 days then. Let's get some more interest on our money.
So just want to let y'all know that it is going to kick the can down the road a little bit for future resurfacing projects.
Well, just make sure, AMT knows that when they're looking at our, scheduling. There's not much we can do about it, is there?
No, there's not.
I mean, we can sit here and stomp our feet and send them a resolution that says this is a bunch of baloney.
Yeah, but we signed
It's
a
not gonna do-
contract,
it's
so
not
it's
gonna
not
do
really gonna do much.
Mm.
Just wanted to let you guys know that I'm gonna go ahead and pay it out of this year's budget since we did budget that resurfacing money. So it'll get paid.
Okay. Where are we with, finance officer position?
We've got one application in. We had to re-advertise for it, and we extended the closing date to the end of either this month or the middle of this month, but we've only got one application to date.
Okay. And can I ask a question, since it's kind of administrator's report and it's kind of budgety type thing? The roundabout landscaping,
Mhm.
because we have gotten the drainage, we've gotten the irrigation, all that stuff's been done now, right?
Mhm.
So Parks Rec and Greenway ought to start planning for plantings in the fall,
That's
correct?
Yes.
Okay, so can we make sure that we let them know that that should be like at the top of their list starting in July?
We can. Yep.
Because that needs to start being planned now so that we can start securing vendors
We
and,
gotta get bids and it needs to be done by
Like-
October-ish.
right, so that's what I'm saying, let's start it now so that we're,
It's gonna take a process and it's gonna have to get done.
yeah, okay. And I'm sorry. No, never mind, I can't ask it, that's fine, keep going. I'm good.
That's all I have.
Okay.
now.
All right, very good, Christina, thank you. Next up, planners report, Rohit.
Okay, I have a couple of things on here. One is that I wanted to update you on the sewer project, the county's project, of course, along Marvin Road. They've changed the scope of it. Instead of replacing the whole pipe, they're just gonna line the pipe, which for us means that they're not gonna have to dig a trench the entire length of the project, but they're gonna dig pits every 600 to 700 feet. It's gonna be a lot less impactful, but there's still gonna be lane closures. So in between the project time frame, which is around September to December, there's gonna be some one lane operation on Marvin Road.
When is that?
September to December.
So this is gonna be during high volume traffic, school, but all this stuff. I thought they were doing it starting this spring.
Well, I guess they got some delays because they just let the construction bid out like a couple of weeks ago.
Well, I've seen flags and
Yeah, so they're
markings
starting
and
to
stuff
do this.
all over
Yeah,
the place.
they're starting to do the surveying now, the locating, and they're estimating to start in early fall and end in December.
Okay, well, maybe that'll keep some people off Martin Road.
What was the stretch of land, the stretch of road from where?
It's
It's
basically
like
county line to
Mack County up to Newtown Road.
Newtown Road, the entire length of Marvin Road.
Yeah.
The entire length?
Yeah.
Really?
That's, hopefully we'll get rid of that sour smell that you smell there.
Poopy.
Well, that's certainly going to be, as we were talking about traffic, that's certainly going to be a help in circumventing that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's gonna send it all down Joe Carr till they get there.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
All right. There's no other questions. The next item on the planning report is a CP&I workshop update. And I put it in my planner's report because they're gonna be, they want to come back to council and present. So at this time, I just wanted to let you know that that workshop happened, and I listed some of the things that they talked about that were interesting. It was a really good workshop. A lot of different people, some were across the state and some were from this area and were familiar with it. They provided their, day one was like us providing them the background, and day two was them, analyzing what we gave them and then providing their feedback. They did a really good job telling us things that we didn't even think about. And again, these are people from all different parts of the industry. We have engineers, architects, construction, planning. So we got a lot of varied feedback from a lot of people. Very good workshop. They're going to be giving us a report in 2 to 3 weeks. So so I've tentatively said, the next planning board meeting. The next council meeting is July 14th, and so they'll likely have their report by then, and if you guys are okay with it, they present at that meeting.
Cool. Awesome.
Absolutely. I'm excited to hear their report.
Okay,
Alright.
great.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any
Anybody
other
got any questions for Rohit?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yep, I'm good.
All right. Open topics. Anybody got anything? I do. Anybody got anything else? No, I do. Okay. So, Mr. Don Carr passed away, who I think was the first mayor of Marvin. So we should really do something. You know, I don't know, a plaque, a key to the, you know, to the village, you know, not a real key, but, you know, to present to his family. I don't know, something. But, you know, I just wanted to recognize the fact that, you know, he had, you know, he was an integral part of the community. And just, you know, send our condolences to his family. And we appreciate everything that he has, you know, has done for the community. So I just wanted to let everybody know that, so.
When did he pass?
I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago.
I did not hear that.
Yeah.
Sad news.
It is sad news.
Is that not something we can send out on one of our?
A blurb. Yeah.
Because, I mean, it should be very well written, but just, you know, he served from this time to this time.
Yeah, and I don't know the dates or anything like that, but yeah, I think that would probably be a good thing. You know, just to recognize his service to the community and, you know, his condolences to his family, and I think that's probably a good idea.
Okay.
So, yeah. And it's Carr, just so everybody knows, it's Carr.
The K-E-R-R.
K-E-R-R. Yeah, it looks like Kerr, but it's Carr. Okay.
Talked to him many times.
Yeah, he's nice gentleman. That was my only open topic. Anything else? Nope. Okay, moving right along. Email blurbs, we've already done that. Moving right along, agenda items, review of action items. We'll do Barbie first, and then we'll look at the actual list. I'll do that when we get here.
Okay.
Because that's where I said I was going to stick it.
Okay.
Okay, I heard. Christina will send out the conceptual plans to church elders for feedback. Christina will coordinate rebid documents of corner property with engineers and architect. Derek will revise the fee schedule for the next meeting. Derek will take fee to PRNG for discussion. Rohit will prepare the resolution for roads acceptance and place it on the consent agenda for July. Rohit will ask Bjorn how I'm trying to think. How the build grant is impacted. Is that
Yeah,
what
like once we get the information, like how does it,
Implementation.
yeah, thank you. Yeah.
implemented? Yeah, the build grant implemented. Rohit will find out cost of speed limit signs.
Fancy speed limit signs.
Rohit will blow up the village center district renderings for town hall meeting and for discussion with streets and names. Christina will add Priebus and Ordell property. Okay, we'll correct that. Rohit will enter into a contract with the to add the Priebus and Odell property. Christina will find out signage on Joe Kerr Road. Christina will get cost for crosswalks. Christina and Rohit will research owning the road from roundabout to roundabout. Christina will research a three-way stoplight results from DOT. Christina will call attorney to go into closed session to discuss removal of planning board member and possibly call a special meeting. Barbie and Christina will follow up with the school system regarding the town hall meeting and for discussion at the July work session. Rohit will revise phase 1 of the annexation plan for discussion at the July work session. Barbie will advertise the Board of Adjustments and the vacancies, and Barbie will update the coffee with council calendars to add Andy.
Perfect. And can you do Park Rec and Greenway openings when you do Board of Adjustments too?
Yes.
Please. And then for when Christina was looking and Rohit to roundabout owning the road, we also want to ask about reducing the speed limit to 25.
Even if we can't.
Even if we can't, right? Correct.
Understood.
So
Okay.
what about the PRG board planning for the roundabout? Is that on there?
Oh yeah, we need to let Park Rec and Greenway know that they need to. Oh, you got that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Cool. All right. Let's see here. Action item
Real-
list. What?
Real quick, if I'd add to that, just so Rohit, I'll be getting you a picture of that speed limit sign down here, and then also find out the venue of the church in Waxhaw.
Okay, it's got two
for
homework
whoever.
items.
I think that's more administrative.
That's your homework, Joe.
I got it.
All right. Okay. Ready for big action item list updates? Okay. Scheduled meeting with elders. That's in progress. We've done it, but we're working on voluntary annexation. Working on that tree planting list. Really, still nothing.
Nothing. Well, Bill is looking to retire, and he's slowed down a lot of his work.
Okay. What about the dwelling ordinance revision?
That's going to be part of the code organization. It's going to happen in a month or two.
All right. Outside funding in progress. Lighting.
No update.
With the street lighting policy, we push that back to, that's.
Oh,
what that
that's the
is.
policy.
Yeah.
What about the actual lighting?
The roundabout lighting?
Yeah.
They're still on the same step.
Okay.
With utilities.
With the
Alright.
utilities, getting the encroachment easements
It
and
takes
trying to.
forever for utilities to move anything.
Yeah.
It is. I know, but it's been like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Will you email John and ask him if he has if he can look for that annexation plan? Or we call him?
Yeah.
Dosage.
The
Whatever he.
plan that he worked on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll reach out.
Alright.
About that. Ouch.
We have reached out to him, just so you know, a couple of times.
But he's
Okay.
just not responding. So you.
He's possibly busy,
Yeah.
whatever, but yeah, I'll remind him.
Okay. Derek's working on the rental signage.
He's done
Okay.
that.
Christina, you can take off our corner property on Marvin School Road, the tax value, so you can say completed because you told us that. Okay.
What are you taking off, corner property?
Yeah, just the tax value. She told us that last meeting. Board of Adjustments, Barbie's working on that. Build grant. Yeah, you can say completed on that one.
On which one?
Build grant.
Build grant.
Mm-hmm. Letter of credit, calendar options, and we're still, that's just info. Deputy Prime. Everything else is complete. Okay, cool. Everybody got anything else there? Nope. Okay. All right, council comments. Joe, you get to go first.
Me?
You, Joe.
Oh, I didn't have much. I had that one item I think I talked about briefly. That so if you guys, I did get a call from the Board of Elections in regards to trying to find venues that would work for a period of 2 weeks right before the pre-election, I guess, voting occurs. But they're in the process of calling everyone. So if you guys know of a venue that could house basically a voting from about 7 in the morning to 8 at night.
They're not
About
doing it at the
weeks.
They're not doing it at the fire station.
It's not a big enough area. I don't know, something that wasn't gonna cut it, I guess, or why they were looking. So I'm not sure the reasons why. She just asked me if I knew of any.
What about
I
the
just thought-
barn?
I
That
thought I
doesn't
would
have
throw it
internet
out to
unless
you
they
guys
have-
if you guys can
unless
think
they're
of
doing
any. I mentioned
written ballot.
maybe Firethorn could be a place where they could pull right up and, have that kind, the ability to vote and use like maybe the top deck or something or in the back. I'm not sure how they would work that.
Okay.
Thank you to staff and all of all the work here. We got a lot accomplished today. I was expecting it to go a lot longer.
We're not
especially
done.
with the land
We have closed session after this. We're not
use-
done.
I know, but the land use plan, I just thought the original meeting.
Because you
was
gave the
a lot
reins
more.
to Kim.
That's right. Say it again, Andy. Say it louder.
He knows what I said.
I did not hear that, and I probably don't want to. Barbie, we got your letter and stuff like that. Sorry to see that you will be retiring and stuff. So appreciate all your service and the work that you've done there. I really do, and I wish the best for you. And I'm trying to think what else. I've got just allowing me to participate remotely. I know I'd rather be there in person, but appreciate you guys making this happen for me. As I'm with family down here at the beach and trying to enjoy them for a couple more days. So that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Bob, you got anything?
Yeah, my condolences first to the Don Carr family. Something to consider in the future, that as we're getting, the village district, if that's materializing and happening, it might be something commemorative that we might be able to do to cite his starting and being a part of the community to get it going. As well as, again, to thank staff for the great job, especially yourself, Barbie. You're going to be missed. I'll miss you. So, of all the personalization you've done to help out, me personally. I think that we've accomplished quite a bit today, and I especially liked the coffee with council the other night that I was there with Councilwoman Vandenberg. I think we had a good full hour of conversation, and it was good because it bubbled up everything that had been going on out there. We were able to actually face and deal with questions that will come up. We'll see more coming up.
Yep.
May I interject? How many people did you get?
Just one.
Okay.
Hey, Joe, Mayor, that was the same one we had, by the way, so don't get too excited.
That's great. He's meeting everyone. That's awesome.
Yes.
He's giving us her.
Good conversation, and but again, and then everybody stay safe there. And we're seeing the COVID-19 numbers start to go up. I don't know if this is going to be a second wave. I mean, I'm just watching news, so everybody stay safe. Thank you.
All right, Jamie.
I was able to attend the Marvin Ridge High School graduation where my son graduated, so congratulations to my son Luke, but also to the Board of Education in Union County to pull this off for these seniors. They've gone through a lot just of uncertainty and all the changes and all the stuff that's going on. But for them to be able to pull it off and have that venue for them where they can actually, walk on that graduation, walk across that stage, was just, it's immense. Whatever they did to make that happen, thank you 10 times over because it was very well put together. At a great facility in the football stadium to do that. I would recommend doing it there every year instead of taking it down to South Carolina because that is the home where you're graduating from. But kudos to everyone that put that together to allow those kids to walk across that stage and get that graduation. And in line of that, to thank the mayor for signing those proclamations and having those available to the kids. I know my son got his, and it was special. It was a special touch to a bad situation and be able to do it. So thanks to the mayor for that. The other thing is, I'm just hopeful that the participation in the Coffee with Council that we're doing is going to pick up, because my understanding, there's a lot of disgruntled people out there, but I think they're disgruntled off of false and bad information and misinformation. So I would strongly suggest and ask and request and all of what you want to say to come to Coffee with Council, so you're truly getting the right information, like it or not. But my concern is we've had one person to join Coffee for Council. I'm hoping that number will pick up to do that, to make better use of that. Staff, thank you again. I mean, I think we are accomplishing a lot of stuff and making significant progress in all the things we do, and I really appreciate staff's help in that. And lastly, to Barbie, thank you so much. It does kind of break my heart. You helped me acclimate myself to council, and you've made it easy. You've made it fun. You've done you've made it a great experience, and I can't thank you enough for all the work that you've done to get us to this point, and you certainly will be missed. So thank you.
Andy?
All right, well, just to add on to one of Bob's comments, a while back we had, it was brought to my attention, or I brought it to the village's attention from a comment on Nextdoor. There was a gentleman that was well known in the community picking up trash and all that, and we had discussed doing some kind of a memorial for him. I think that possibly in this downtown development center here, that should be something that we look at, a place for memorials for people who have made huge impacts on the community, because we have had many, and the more years we go, the more we will have those certain special people. So I think that's something that we should really explore a little more in detail as we move forward. And I just want to say thank you to Barbie for everything that you've done. Helped me tremendously with my transitions through the last couple of months from PRG to council and all the years that we've worked together. You've been solid and just have been a tremendous help, and you'll be very, very much missed.
Thank you.
Okay, me. I just kind of echo what everybody said today. Great meeting. We've gotten a lot accomplished. We're moving the ball forward on a lot of really good things. So I appreciate everybody's hard work. Barbie, I sent you an email thanking you for your service, so I'll say it in public, but thank you for your service and your dedication to the village. It's very much appreciated. Okay, with that, we're going to move to, actually, we tabled one item that we need to come back to. Christina, you talked to Chaplain.
I did, yes, and he said there's two ways you guys can do this. You can decide to have an informal conversation. One of you guys can go to whoever it is that you're discussing, tell them that you have talked to council members individually and that you believe that a potential removal will be discussed at such and such meeting. That informal meeting can take place at any point in time from any one individual from council. So you can do that if you wish to do so, or you can proceed with an official notice. And I can do the notice, but y'all would have to say the person's name, whoever it is, and basically what they would be violating. You can go into closed session to talk about procedure only. Chaplains are willing to do that, but you can't talk about individual things. You just only talk about the procedure of how it's going to take place, which is basically what I just said. So I don't know if there's a point in going into closed session.
I think it'll probably just be better for us to direct you to proceed with notifying the person of it, and then we can tell you which violations, or do you need specific ones, or can you just say violated the code of ethics?
I guess I could say violation of code of ethics, but I would need to know who it is that you're talking about, so that's I can properly notify the person.
And I don't know how this works, but I've marked several in here that you can And that's just at first blush. But if I'm marking multiple, I think that's enough.
So if y'all are asking the individual to provide a rebuttal to what the allegations or the violations are, do you want me to individualize the exact ones, or do you just want me to say in?
I think if you feel like you've got some specific ones there, then I think you can be more specific.
Okay.
But I think it would be better coming from you, and I think you can give the person the option if they would like to resign or if they would like to have a response to this. But if, the resignation doesn't happen, then it will be on July's agenda.
Yeah.
Okay. July's regular, the 14th. Okay. So most of what you have marked here is in section 2 of integrity and independence. So I can just kind of give a statement as to just that one section. And then you have one on section 3.
Correct.
And just to be clear, it'll be a consideration to remove someone, and it
Correct.
obviously will be officially voted on unless,
they resign.
yeah.
Okay. So does somebody want to make a motion to direct Christina to proceed with notifying the individual of this?
Well, don't we have to talk to Christina individually?
No. I think we can make a motion and we can vote on it.
Chaplain,
No, the reason why I'm saying is, how does she know who to go to talk
We're
to?
getting ready to say it in the motion. Chaplain said we have to say it in the motion.
Oh,
Chaplain said that you could informally do it, or if you actually give an official formal notice to proceed, then you need to say who it is.
So do you want to informally have a
I see
conversation
what
with the
you're saying,
person?
I see. Okay.
I think, just from my point of view, I think an informal conversation to begin with, to give this person an opportunity to either justify their actions or amend their actions, unless you are adamant that they went to a certain degree that requires immediate action.
I want them the right. They're obviously given, they should have the right.
Right.
To refute any of the things. So what I just handed to Christina, if someone wants to take that information, take that document and have that informal conversation, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
However, once that conversation is done, the next step, I would look back to Chaplain. And what is how do we proceed from there? Once that informal is done, do we still go to putting it on?
The agenda if they
The
don't
agenda,
resign? I
right.
think that's correct.
Yes.
And then the name is then released.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
because this keeps anonymity until it becomes.
And you know what,
push come
quite
to
honestly,
shove.
quite
Okay.
honestly, they can come and make their public statement. Then they're
So who wants this? Chaplain did say that one of you guys could have the informal conversation, but if you're directing me to do it,
Then
then it
it
needs
has
to be.
to be-
I would recommend that Andy do it.
Based on, because I have no clue what we're,
Well,
Because
where we're at.
because you have
because
not
of-
been here.
Because of past history.
Okay.
And listen, understand that, this is all born from previous actions, previous things that have happened. But irregardless, you cannot disseminate false information based off information that you received from a board or from council, from anything else, and you sign the code of ethics.
Right.
So these are very factual, in my estimation, if I were gonna do this, these are very factual questions that I would ask of this person. And it's fact-based, it's either you did or you did not. And you need to support that, have everything supported that you did not.
And I don't think you need to get into a back and forth,
No.
or it's just say, this is just a notification. I'm just letting you know, and here's the reasons on the code of ethics, and if you want to resign, then that is an option. If you do not, and you would like to rebut this, then, you have that opportunity to do so in the July 14th meeting during public comments.
Right. And
And there's gonna be, there should be no like trying to justify
I
anything
have
or,
no problem with that. I just was, you know, because I'm not so familiar with.
and I think that's
And
probably the reason.
And that's probably the reason. Trust me, you know, we can, I don't know the appropriate way, but there's, I think being, not that anyone
Removed,
would.
more removed from the situation than
Right.
anyone else is.
Right. And, Governor, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I think you would be the most appropriate person at this time.
Yes.
Alright.
And I always, I'm gonna tell you the same thing I tell my kids every time I'm asking them to do something. I'll never ask you to do something I wouldn't do myself.
I understand the reasoning. I'm just like trying to keep up with it. So so yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. All right, with that, I need a motion to move into closed session pursuant to, and I'm just gonna read them all, because I feel like we're gonna stay in it, right? Okay. NCGS 143-318.11A1, A5, and A6. I need a so moved.
So moved.
Further discussion? All's in favor?
Alright.
Aye. Okay, Bob and Joe, we're gonna have to call you on the phone, and we are